how to live a life you hate, and how to find an anti-mentor. All right, what does this mean? Let's get right into it. All right. This idea came to me while musing on both my envy of a classmate at Georgetown and a book that I love called Viper's Tangle. Resentment, envy, and greed are such destructive passions, as can be seen in the novel, as can be seen in our own lives, as we have all felt before. These are the devil's passions. I call them that because they're sly, and no matter how much you do to try to avoid them and try to cleanse your soul of them, they seem to always find you in your darkest, most vulnerable moments. They are pernicious and most worthy of attention. So, how do you set up a system to help identify when you're feeling them? Maybe you could even put addiction in there and, quick dopamine hit desiring in there, how to avoid that. This is kind of a framework for how to think about, optimal decision making. I have so many mentors, and the logic of having a good mentor is kind of so obvious and talked about on YouTube that I kind of just feel like it would be redundant to go over it. Um, if you're trying to learn from the people you actually admire, you do that by wanting to become like them. If you're not doing this already, you're kind of a lost cause. However, the idea that as you move on your path towards self-actualization, you become distracted by suboptimal stimuli and emotions is true for me at least. And so in these moments, I naturally say things like, why not? It's not that bad. And what is just one time? This could be eating something for someone. This could be skipping a workout. This could be not, being consistent in any good habit or falling into whatever negative habit you're trying to avoid, right? And when I'm trying to talk myself out of doing whatever action is in question, I often try to imagine, the heroic version of myself, someone that I admire, what they would do in this situation, and kind of just like use that as a motivator to get me to not do it, right? Oftentimes I find myself asking to my friends and to myself, would God smile favorably upon this action? Like, I even have one of my friends, Arian, who is like, I call him like my spiritual advisor. Like, this is a big thing in AA. Basically, like the people that you respect and know have your best interests at heart, would they smile upon this action that you're about to take? Oftentimes, the answer is probably not, but you can do some like rationalization and some kind of mental gymnastics to convince yourself that whatever you're trying to avoid is actually not really all that bad. And I think this framework that I'm about to introduce is a way to kind of avoid tricking yourself into allowing yourself to do whatever it is. I not uncommonly find myself doing the thing I set out, somewhat precisely not to do. So maybe a different strategy would work better. So this idea of an anti-mentor is just what you don't want to become. You have your mentor, which is, whoever that may be, God for some people, Andrew Tate for others, the best version of yourself, strong, fit, rich, kind, generous, whatever it may be. But then we have this anti-mentor. So for me, an anti-mentor is the person that has been given everything and yet still has made nothing of themselves, still does nothing, doesn't make people laugh, doesn't have meaning in life, isn't consistent with their goals, isn't, friendly to people, isn't trying to spread positivity in the world, isn't the best version of themselves. So I try to clearly imagine what this person looks like. And maybe that's, someone sitting on the couch eating Doritos, playing video games, or maybe that's just me watching YouTube all like for too long because we have to make these real for ourselves. So for me, my anti-mentor actually isn't the person eating Doritos and playing video games, because that's not even what I want to do. That's not even what myself could become. What I could become is just this lackluster kind of people pleaser, just go throughout the day and get a typical job and kind of just go through the motions. That's what I want to try to avoid. So if you clearly define what an anti-mentor would look like, that could help you clearly say, all right, basically the whole thesis of this video is, all right, if I'm deciding between two actions, or if I'm trying to not do something, really think about it and say, all right, I have my mentor, whatever idealized version of yourself you have, and then I have my anti-mentor, whatever shit version of yourself you hope to avoid. And if you really clearly imagine those and, you know, have those held both times at your mind, and you think of every choice as a crossword, you say, all right, if I want to become this person and I have this choice in front of me, would the positive person take this choice or would the negative person take this choice? And one of them will take the choice. And if the negative one takes the choice, then you can't do it. Like, it's not enough for me for whatever reason to say, all right, then like in isolation, okay, the negative person, you know, some lazy bum, the lazy bum version of me, this is the type of thing they would do. But then I could say, all right, oh, the lazy bum version of me, that's not really me. I'm just going to do this one time and get back to work, whatever. But then, and then I could also say, you know, the positive version of me, you know, the positive version of me, you're allowed to skip the gym because I'm still going to go tomorrow, whatever, right? But over time, if you like, each choice compounds, right? You know, we all know how powerful compound interest is. Your habits compound. That's like why I'm able to, you know, work out 30 minutes a day or whatever, and, you know, still be like pretty fucking ripped. Like, that's the key. It's the compound of good habits. And I think this might be a useful framework for people to use to, you know, be able to make the right choices consistently over time. I'm in Spain right now. On my way to the airport, I met this group of, you know, 70-year-old, 75-year-old, three women and one man. I went up to them, I sat down next to them, and I was like, "Are you guys studying abroad?" They loved it, and I just started talking with them. And, you know, one of the ladies, after we had talked for like 15, 20 minutes, you know, I try to lay all my cards out on the table right away. So if you don't like me, you know, I can know right away, and I can just leave. I don't need to do the whole fake game. I've done that before. I'd rather just show you what I'm carrying, and then if you like it, great, and if not, then, you know, we can both fuck off and kick rocks. It's all good either way for me. But so I met this lady, and, you know, she kept emphasizing to me, when I was going to Spain, she said, "Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot." But, you know, in the most endearing way, in the most like, you know, I want the best for you way, almost as if she was like my grandma or my mom or something. And I was just like, oh, wow, I mean, it's amazing that, you know, this person's rooting for me after 2 seconds. But it's also like, I was thinking about it the other day. I haven't thought about that once since being here. You know, hopefully I haven't been being too much of an idiot, but for whatever reason, the singularity of "don't be an idiot" doesn't stick for me. Like, I need the juxtaposition. So that's why I like this framework. It's the same as, like, you know, the Dwight Schrute line is, you know, I asked myself, would an idiot do this? And then if an idiot would do it, I definitely don't do it. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, that just doesn't stick hard enough for me. Like, when I'm choosing to do something, it's like, you know, would the laziest, most, you know, just self-interested version of myself do this? Or, like, you know, there is no or. It's like, all right, well, but if it's not bad, like I can take something that isn't mine. I can, you know, cut a little bit off the top. I can skip here or there. But if I really visualize the best version of myself and the worst version of myself, and think of every, you know, choice that I have as being either pulling me towards the best version of myself or pulling me towards the worst version of myself, that, for whatever reason, sticks for me. And I've just been thinking about it recently, and I'm still kind of experimenting with it and trying to just, my whole strategy for life is to put mental processes in place that allow me to be somewhat on autopilot mode, to most easily, most, you know, just effortlessly make the right choices, right? Because I think that's the whole key, right? You don't think about it. Their habits, set good habits in place when you're young. That'll make all the difference. And I don't know if I've really heard this idea of, I mean, thought of, like, just presented this concretely before. It's obviously been said in many different forms. So when you come to a crossroads, you often have two choices. And when you think, would an idiot do this, there seems to be room for negotiation. However, when faced with two choices, to do or not to do, etc., you have the mental framework to envision the type of person that does option one and the type of person that does not do option one. And if you can actually hold both of these potentials concretely in your mind, I think it will be far easier to make the long-term optimal decision for whatever life you want to create. And that is all based on or predicated on you having an ideal version of yourself and a super negative version of yourself. And right now I'm working with my friend Colby to build a, you know, a commonplace online journal app where you're going to be able to create the positive version, ideal version of yourself, the negative version of yourself. And hopefully, if you go back to that app every day, you write, what your goals are, you write your values, and you try to have your goals be in line with your values. And you're thinking about what you did throughout the day, what you did yesterday, what you hope you do tomorrow, and you think about the positive version of yourself and the negative version of yourself. Hopefully, this will allow you to slowly drift towards the realm of the positive, towards the life that you want for yourself, and the life that I want for you, because I want to be around great people, and I want the world to be full of curious, kind, strong, smart people. So really, do me a favor and see if this works. Thanks a lot for listening. That's max depth for you. Be well. Peace out.